Hey guys, it's me, Rohan Singh, and today I'm going to talk about a book. Earlier I talked about 1984 by George Orwell. Even before that I talked about Dune by Frank Herbert. 1984 by George Orwell is my favorite book of all time. The book which I'm going to talk about today is also competing with 1984 as one of my top most favorite books of all time. This book is Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka. Now, I don't know if you have heard of Franz Kafka. He is sort of an unknown writer. Many people don't know him. He isn't as famous or well known as George Orwell, Frank Herbert, or many of the other writers that we have seen. But I still think that the books he has written deserve to be more famous than they are. The books of his which I'm going to talk about today is Metamorphosis. It is perhaps one of his most well-known books out there, aside from The Trial, which is also pretty good. I recommend you read it. Maybe I'll review it later, but this time we're talking about Metamorphosis. Now, right off the bat, without going deep into the review, I will say that this is a short book. It barely has 100 pages. You can probably finish this in 2-3 hours within a single day, in a single reading. So it's not a huge book or a huge commitment which many people are afraid to make. Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka is about Gregor Samsa, who is a man who suddenly wakes up from sleep and realizes that he is turned into an insect bug-like creature who kinda looks like a cockroach. Now, many might think that this is the beginning of a children's book, but let me tell you that this is not a children's book. This book is basically about the challenges which Gregor faces, because his consciousness, his mentality and the people he knows are still intact, even though his physical body has turned into a humanoid grotesque bug which suddenly transformed into it for no reason. His consciousness and the people he knows are still present in there, and it's basically like a human soul trapped in the body of a horrendous humanoid creepy bug. And this is obviously a story which leads to many depressing and surreal places, which I'll go into later. Now, Gregor Samsa, as he wakes up and discovers that he is a bug-like creature, first of all he has to deal with how can he tell his family everything, how will they react, what will happen to his job, his friends, all the earthly problems. And as a result, this book concerns itself with themes of disillusionment, existentialism and alienation. The most prominent theme in this book is probably the theme of alienation. The feelings and the thoughts which Gregor Samsa has in his head as he is put aside by his family and friends for transforming into a humanoid bug, when in reality they should be helping him, is quite sad. It also deals with themes of existentialism and many things where Gregor Samsa realizes. It's a very surreal and dark book. It's very depressing too. This sort of quirk of Franz Kafka of crafting words which are very surreal, dreamlike and are depressing and deal with themes which are very heavy are known as kafkaesque. I'm sure you've heard of it at some point or the other. TEDx made a wonderful video on this subject, and if you're interested in Kafka's stories, then I recommend that you watch the video. The link to it will be given in the description. Overall, it's a really good book. If you want a short read which you will finish within a few hours, which will stay with you for a long time with heavy themes and a surreal outlook on life, then I suggest Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka, one of my favorite books alongside 1984, or at least competing with it for the time being. If I were to rate Metamorphosis, I would give it 4 out of 5. It's a really good book. I highly recommend it. And that's it. Thank you for watching my video. Subscribe and like if you enjoyed it, and goodbye.